Welcome back. We're now going to do a piece that is so valuable. In addition to all the other tools you have, this is sort of the foundation piece that constantly needs to be updated, and that's creating a compelling self-image. And we have two ways we do it. One is a compelling self-image for just the person as who they are, to find out what is truth now, and then that gives them that sense of authenticity. So it updates, instead of seeing themselves as a child still, coming back to reality. And the second one is about a compelling self-image with a specific behavior. So I thought the best way to give you an idea was we're going to step out through the process of a compelling self-image with a specific behavior that is relevant to him right now. And so I thought the best example is to step through that, and we'll show you the slide along the way.
Now, one of the things I like about this process is we're looking for truth, and we're looking for what the person already knows. I can, if Marilyn has a goal or a questionable behavior or success of a behavior, I can give her all the platitudes and affirmations in the world, and it's not going to have the same effect as if it's truth and if it comes from her. So what we're doing is we're letting someone represent how they see themselves in a context, and then what information is represented in those images that would be useful for moving forward.
Right.
So it's
So the purpose is to create a self-image that enhances a specific quality or behavior using information from both right and left hemispheres that the person wants to have now and in their future, so that they're knowing about it now, they want more. And this is where your work can be generative. They may be already really, really competent at something and good at something, and they want more. So it's seeing that next step.
key word here is compelling.
Yeah, so the compelling is, I don't have it yet. And that's sometimes those affirmations that say, oh, I already have all the money in the world. It's like the brain goes, well, then how come your bank account is at that number? We can't lie to our brain. If I have it already, there's no motivation to go get it. So we put it out here.
And you know you're lying to yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can't even trust yourself, it's going to be hard to go through the world.
But we can put an image out here of me increasing my income or increasing my wealth in a way that I can see myself having it, that is enticing and compelling for me to do the work to get there, right? So the first thing we do, as with any of our sessions, we're going to establish rapport in the ecology for the working together and elicit what quality of behavior the explorer would like to have be different. So we're going to start with that. So we presuppose Al and I have good rapport. We've been talking together in our session and so on. So Al, I know...
And the way you can tell is we're breathing together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know that you've been through 2 different surgeries this year. You have a hip replacement and you have a spinal fusion. And one of the things you told me as part of your compellingness is you want to get back into playing golf again.
I'd like to be able to play golf again.
Yeah, so that's what you want to have be different,
Mhm.
right? Good, all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know I can, but so I don't know. Yeah, it's different, but I want to. There are concerns.
Yeah.
You know, obviously swinging with a different back, basically. Part of
Right.
it's been replaced. Is that's going to be a different challenge.
Right.
So
And yet the goal, what you would like to
I would like
have
to
in
be
your
able to play
life
golf
is
good.
being able to play golf good. Yeah. And we know whatever your definition of good is. And
that's good.
yeah, and we can take that and get it more chunked down, but we want to have you see. So we would talk about that, and I say, okay, when you see yourself playing golf good in the future, what does that view look like?
First thing that came up was just an image. It's about 15 feet away. It's kind of up in the air. It's lighter than, I mean, color-wise, so there's not a lot of definition in it. It's like a swing, a setup. It's like a driver. It's facing this way. There's no sound in the background. And internal, it's like, so the internal comment is like, It's like, okay, it's there. But it's, for lack of a better word, it's fluffy. It's not,
Right, it's a little bit.
there's no texture to it, really.
Okay. Did you say it was in color?
Well, the color, it could be in color, but it's like white. It's like a light fog.
Oh, okay, so a light fog. And yet it isn't, is it an image of you or just somebody else?
No, it's me.
Okay, so there's an image of you setting up.
About 40 years old, probably.
So it's a little bit younger.
No, 35, something like
So
that.
35 or 40 years old.
Age doesn't seem that important.
With the driver addressing the ball, but it's kind of
Like I'm gonna hit it
fluffy,
that way.
foggy.
Mhm.
And so you talked about there was no sound coming from that picture.
That's funny.
Right?
I start, also my knees kind of, which I felt a little bit before, but now it's more. I have some arthritis in my right knee.
So that's a factor we need
That's
to
it.
talk about.
That's, okay, but anyway, so that's just a physical, for some reason, it came up when we're talking about this.
Right, which is what I was going to ask you next. So the comment about it is just sort of like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, so now we want to just do a little physical inventory about the response in your physical body.
Yeah.
And you noticed your knee.
I
Was it like a,
can feel my back, but I don't know if that's because I've been standing. But the knee is the way it was popping out for a knee. That's not a good thing.
that's not a good thing, yeah.
No, but,
It's
well,
interesting to know
but
that that's a concern.
Right.
So that we want to know
But I didn't know it was a concern.
all the things that we want to make sure we address.
All right.
Then we want to take that whole, the visual, auditory, and physical input and say, what's that sort of evaluation of that, or what's the emotion when you look at that image of you in the future?
Yeah. But it's like, it may happen, it may not.
Yeah, so like hopefulness but doubt. It may happen, it may not.
Not even hopeful. It's more expectational. It may happen, it may not.
Okay.
So it's iffy.
And that's just what that side of our brain, your brain is giving us. So if you would just check and see, Alan, the way that works for you, which mind's eye is more dominantly sending?
I seem to be focusing through my left.
Through your left eye?
Mhm.
Okay. And so what just check it out. Left eye? Okay. So
That's when
that seems to be, yeah.
yeah.
So what we're going to do is, we know this is valuable information from one side of your brain, so we're going to just move that aside for a moment. We'll come right back to
put it over here.
it. Not way over, but out of your visual field.
I can bring it back when I want it, but so it's out of, because I may get a picture over here.
Gotcha.
So I need it out of my,
Out of your visual
yeah,
awareness.
so I can come back actually.
But we're not dismissing it, we're not throwing it
No,
away. Yeah, okay.
no, it's my thoughts, and I'm gonna respect my own brain enough to know that there's a reason I think of it that way.
All right, so now we're going to go to the, in a way that works for you. And I know oftentimes you can do this automatically, but to show our audience,
Okay.
I'd like you to just, if you would, just gently cup your hand and cover your left eye.
Okay,
And take a breath, because that what it does now quiets that side of the brain. Hold it there
that's a
for a
good
second.
idea. Okay,
Quiets that side of the brain and
Mhm.
allows the other side to have an opportunity to share its opinion or its
Okay.
perspective. So when you think about you playing golf in the future, good. What perspective, what picture, what image comes up on this
okay.
side?
First thing that comes up is it's a picture like on a golf course.
Mhm.
It's further away. It's probably about 70 yards, 60 yards away, and it's like a golf course driving. There's people around. I can't really tell if it's a driving range or the first tee. It's like there might be a driving range here and there might be a tee over here, and I think it's me. I can't tell for sure if it's me, but it's about as tall as me and everything, and getting ready to hit it, a driver again.
Mhm.
So I don't come up with anything putting, but so it's in color.
Is it a movie or just a photograph?
It's just a photo, but see, I don't know. It could be a movie because although I can imagine I'm swinging, or he is or whatever, but it's a still picture.
At the moment, it's a still picture.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so like a pause if it was a movie.
Mhm.
And then I want you to notice in the auditory system, is there any sound coming from that picture?
Not specifically. It's just like when you're golfing, you may hear an airplane, you may hear.
So sort of ambient sound.
Yeah, so it would change. There's no definite humming or noise or anything like that. But
Good.
it's not like it's not like I hear it, but I can see that for some reason it's a part of it, just the background.
Right. So then I want you to notice what your internal comment is about this you over there.
That would be fun.
That would be fun,
Right.
right? And then again, take a little inventory of your physical response. That would be fun.
Mm.
That would be fun.
There's I don't know what, it's not bad, it's just, the only thing I really notice is here.
Is it like a tingly? Is it uneasy?
No,
Is it
just, I don't know.
so there's a sensation there. excuse me, how would you describe that sensation?
A light anxious, maybe.
Oh, okay, so, all right.
I mean, but not a bad thing. It's just like, that would be fun, and I kind of seem to feel that here.
And then noticing when we put those visual, auditory, kinesthetic experience together, what would be your emotion evaluation of that side?
I think that would be fun.
I think that would be fun. Sounds very solid. Yeah?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Factual. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. So that takes us through to the first part of the section where we've elicited the image on the first side and the submodalities, the visual, auditory, internal and external, and kinesthetics, and then the evaluation. And then we do it the same thing from the other side. And now we're going to be able to say, we're going to bring back that first image. So we have both images co-consciously.
Okay.
Right? Because there's valuable information in both sides.
I would assume so.
Right. Because that's what your mind's giving us. We want to make sure that either we need to update it or inform it or understand it or however. Now, in this process, we are going to hold those images because there's really valuable information. As we're holding them, if you were to look at the two and say...
So we're not going to shift eyes or anything like that on them?
No.
So
Yeah.
we're just going to,
This is good information.
Okay.
Because right now we want to know, of those two images, which one for you is more compelling?
I know it sounds weird. You'd think the second one, but the first one is what I want to work with for some reason.
All right, good.
So-
And then that's not for me to judge.
Yeah,
it's for
I
you to
would
decide.
normally assume that it would be the one that's in color, and that would be fun and everything, but for some reason that I'm more drawn to that one.
Right, good.
So I don't know why.
Well, we honor that experience.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, however your brain would like to organize it. This first image that came up, which was a little bit fluffier, you at about 35 or 40, addressing a ball, was that sort of, right? And it would be, that would be nice.
May happen, may not.
May or may not. So we're going to hold that one sort of as your compelling image. And we're going to use this other information, this other image as a resource image, we call it. Not necessarily resourceful, but we can learn from it. There's information.
There's information that would be a resource to
Right.
that first one.
And what you'll be noticing is as we do the next part, what happens. I just want you to notice. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen.
Neither do I.
All right, so as we look at this first image,
Mhm.
we've got that compelling image now. We're going to look at the second image that came up, which was that will be fun. That would be fun.
Mhm.
You're about 70 yards away. You are pretty sure that's you.
I actually am kind of getting that it's not.
Oh,
But my sense is with the other one, I'm seeing that. So it probably is not me. It's like I'm seeing it.
yeah, there's information there.
Right. No wonder this is more compelling. Okay.
Yeah, good. So when you look at that second image, Al, I'd like you to evaluate it and say, okay, what are the resources, the structure, the beliefs, the behaviors? What can we learn from that image that would be really valuable?
That there's something about being, the environment is important, not just the golf. So it's not just, I mean, it's like some of the most beautiful things I've seen from a golf course, you know, whether it be in the mountains or rivers or homes that are decorated good, whatever. There's some beautiful views. So the environment is important.
All right. So, and what's important about that environment? Is it the
It's just
beauty?
being there.
Being
you know, It's
there.
like, being in the environment. It's almost like I can smell it.
Wow.
So,
All right. So what we're going to do is take that quality, that sense of awareness of the environment and the beauty of it,
that's cool. That's
and
interesting.
bring that into,
So it added color to this one.
add a color to the first image.
Yeah. And faded in the background. I mean, so there isn't now an environment there, but it's still, so it's not real clear. It's not clear like in that one, but being in the environment, it's more, it's actually some color to it in the environment. So
Which is the amazing thing we want to do. I'm not going to direct him other than saying, let's bring that quality in, and we start from the bottom into this compelling self-image of you. His brain will adjust in the way that's appropriate for him.
Right.
And what I noticed, though, I'd like to ask you a question.
Mhm.
What I noticed in the gesture, as the color came in that
Mhm.
environment, the image seems to come down a little
Yeah, did a little bit.
bit. So it's because the other one was way higher than you are.
It was like, it was like probably 8 or 9 feet tall, and now it's not, I'm still a little bigger in it, but
Yeah.
still, cut me down to size or something. No. But it kind of, yeah, it did kind of form better. So, yeah.
Okay. So now we want to go back to that second image, which we call the information image, and say
Mhm.
what other information can we gather from that, or qualities or important information that would be valuable or enhance this first compelling self-image.
But okay, it's interesting because there's one guy hitting it, so it's very individual, and there are other people around. What I'm getting, and it's something I've known for a very long time, is I don't play golf with people I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I would want to do, and I have a couple of friends that I would probably play with that I've known since I played before, but it's a social thing as well, but I don't want it to be a forced social thing. In other words, I don't want to play with someone just because they happen to be there at the same time I'm there, because a lot of times they're kind of
They're not that
morons.
much fun to
or-
play with, yeah.
Yeah, they get mad, they
Throw their gloves or,
yeah. As soon as they throw a club, I'll never play with them again. And
Yeah.
I'll probably tell them about it. Yeah, because that's not okay. So it's
Okay.
about there's a camaraderie,
Oh,
but it's being individual. But it's okay. The important message is to find a way to play with people I like and respect. It doesn't mean they have to be great golfers. Certain quality would be good, but I'm not going to play with jerks.
yeah.
So
What I'm hearing, and tell me if I have it
Mhm.
accurately, we're going to bring the quality of camaraderie and playing with people that you like, and you play your own game, you're an individual.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Is that saying it accurately?
Yeah, I mean, it's close. There's a few other comments that I can kind of
You can do that
adjust.
internally, so all we're going to do is bring that from that image.
Say it again, yeah, the
The
quality.
the quality was that sense of camaraderie and playing with people that you enjoy and like socially,
Okay,
and you're now an individual, bring that into the compelling image.
Right. Okay, so what, now it's actually at a hole that I'm familiar with. It's over Tears Creek, and it's like number 17. Okay, it's kind of see that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I don't know. So it's like it's my turn, and other people are there, and they're interested in what I'm doing. They're not fidgeting, and
So
annoying
being
me,
respectful and
Right.
interested in what you're doing, so that wonderful.
which is what I would do for them, of course.
Exactly.
So
And just notice any other qualities that might have changed. How about the age of you in that picture? Are you still 35 to 40?
age doesn't seem to matter. I
Okay.
think there's part of me that I should be able to hit it as good as them. I don't want to popcorn it out there. I mean, I know that my back is going to be different, but I still want to hit it hard. To me, golf's more fun that way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, now you just said an important word that was in that other image was that would be fun.
mhm.
Is that a quality that would be important to bring into this image?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because in the second image, it looks like whoever that is about hitting it hard. I mean, is part of a good full swing. So not having physical restrictions. So I know there are, but I need to. If I can't hit it good, it's going to annoy me and I won't do it.
And we
So-
know good is there another word for good? Because good is one of those
No.
value judgments.
I could use all kinds of value judgments. If it's not fun to hit it, I don't want to play.
Okay, so whatever that funness is for you,
Mhm.
and we don't know yet because you
It's
have.
hitting it good.
Yeah, so we're going to bring that quality
Mhm.
of fun, even though there's people around.
Well, it's fun to hit it hard.
Yeah, so however hard you hit it, if you hit it
Well,
hard.
it's not just hitting it hard. It's having enough force to get the ball to do what you want it to do.
Okay,
If you're going to hit it high, you have to have a certain amount of club head acceleration.
right,
So
and,
it's-
and those things the knowledge about those things you still have, just because
Most
you
of
had
it,
some
yeah.
surgery, the
Right.
information's still there.
Okay, but
So bring in that sense of fun when you hit it good, you hit it hard. So bring
Yeah.
that quality in.
Okay.
Right.
So that's more compelling. I think that probably for time-wise and things like that, that's probably enough. Now this picture is there. It's not as associated, but it's, I mean, it's there. It's just not as, I mean, it's there, but this one is, I mean, it's much more compelling. It's much more color.
All right, so all I'd like to do is ask you, just one more time, looking back at that second image, from your awareness here, is there anything else that would be important or of value, information that we would like to capture and bring into the compelling image?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I mean, that's enough for now.
that image can be there. If there's more later, your unconscious mind can do that, or we can revisit this, because it's always a work in progress.
Right.
So you have now a compelling image that is, it sounds like it's a little more real, less fluffy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So is
Right.
that something that, right, has it by any chance gotten any closer, or is it still out
No,
there?
it's still there. It's still out there.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, it's kind of, like this is kind of, my future tends to be off this way,
Mhm.
and this is, you know, it's like the way you plan things, it's kind of like more the pathway, so.
which is important,
yeah.
right? So is there any importance about keeping it out there, or
It's fine where it is.
it's fine where it is?
Well, because I'm not doing it right now. I have to be careful because of my back. I can't go out and immediately swing the way I used
There,
to.
but we've got some steps in between,
Right.
but that's the compellingness that keeps you wanting to get back into movements
And
and
that's, yeah.
doing your exercises and so on. When you do them well, then that's what's in your future.
Well, it's interesting because that, and then have that other picture is also part, it's background, but this is, so, yeah, so it's good the way it is.
Okay. So as you look at that now
Mhm.
and know that this is the next step in you sort of inspiring to want to
Mhm.
take care of your body to get back there, if you would just, what I'd like you to do is have both mind's eyes see this image now. This is more updated and current and more
Okay.
compelling. So you're just going to, whichever I'd like to do first, I'd like to
Okay.
cover one and just make sure this side has that full image now of you that's more in color. It's more a sense of reality, I would say.
My knee
There's-
feels stronger.
Your knee feels stronger, that's a good thing.
Interesting, yeah.
And that our body, however we do this, the physiology will follow.
Yeah.
And then we'll try it on the other side, just bring in all those qualities, that sense of fun and hitting it good and
More 3D
the
that way.
camaraderie and so on. So just letting his unconscious mind install then this perspective of the future, sort of like a roadmap to the future. You want to have a map of where you want to go or you won't get there. So we're helping his brain be enticed and compelled to go, yeah, that's why it's worth doing my exercises today, because that's in my future.
That would be,
Okay. Now, we can't physiologically do this here because of the camera, but if I was in my office, I would take him into that space. We're just going to go try that on
okay.
and experience it. So we'll pretend that we've gone out to where that is. He didn't want to move it. Some people will, it'll naturally get closer, but in Al's case, it's appropriate for it to be there because there's still more healing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we would go actually physiologically go step in that location because there's memory location. As he did, I would have him step into it and turn and look back to here. So we'll just pretend and put his back to the camera for a moment. And I would have him from this space, I would read back, because I will take notes during my session, I would read back all those qualities. So here, this is the you that's in color, it's full body, it's camaraderie,
Love
it's
it,
hitting it
okay.
hard, it's those qualities of being able to do it good and do it with the strength that you have and so on. If you would,
That's the strength that I want.
the strength you want, but we're feeling what it feels like. We're imagining that you have that. We're stepping into the future as a pretend as if. From this perspective, if you
Well,
were to
from here,
give Al, the Al that's standing back next to Marilyn over there, because I would be out there with you, a message of encouragement or wisdom or something that would be compelling for him, a good coaching voice, what would you say to this man back here?
What comes in is be careful,
Be careful.
which is not necessarily encouraging, but it's pretty smart.
Yeah, well, and be careful. If you're full of care, that's a good thing, yeah?
Mhm.
So then I would bring him back and walking back and step back into Al
Mhm.
and hear from you and I today, knowing that this is where you're headed, that you
Mhm.
out there had sent a message of you that says, and I want you to hear it coming from that you out there. And the words were, be careful,
Yeah,
right?
I got that.
Yeah, which is smart.
Mhm.
Right? Good. So then, what are some of the, now we want to sort of future pace this. It's not something he immediately can go do. What are the things, though, that you are going to put in your pathway
Well,
to encourage you to move towards that?
Even before you did the switching or the message and everything, I'd seen like hitting some shots, not full shots. So like wedges and a few things first, and half swing, 3/4, and then starting to stretch it out, things like that. So I actually saw like 4 steps in there.
So having been a golf professional, you understand the sequencing of incremental learning that gets you to that compelling image, and that's the image that keeps you there. Right. Remember when we talked about motivation strategy? Having that image is what increases the motivation strategy's success tremendously.
So
good. So what's a way that you will, as you maybe just for a little while practice that, as you're thinking about golf and just seeing that image of you, and so that both sides of the brain understand.
I have to associate it with doing my exercises.
So exercises lead you to that, so there's a connection.
Well, it's part of the being careful. It's like exercise, the core is protecting
your back.
The surgical area.
And this is, I don't know if you noticed, but that's what I was looking for, is bilateral gestures. There's like both sides of the brain now doing that. Exercises for my core. Where he was talking just with one hand, now we've got both hands involved.
Was I? Okay.
Yes. Which is something that we do. Is one side tends to be more dominant than the other. And Al's a left brain lead, so the right hand's going to have more information. And yet we want that other side that was a little fluffy before to go, yeah, if I do my exercises, I get to have that.
Well, yeah, because if that's solid, then I can.
And we can see how many different hemispheric levels we went through. There's the behavior of the golf and the beauty of the golf course. There's the camaraderie of friends. There's the identity of self, and it's a mission and spirit passion of how he enjoys his life.
Right.
Yeah, good. So
good job.
Thank you. And what we do is go through. So what I was asking, what information, skill, resource, quality, or feeling, and this is all in your script, is in the resource or information image that will enhance and enrich the hologram of the compelling you. Now the hologram, in this case, Al's image was compelling. You will occasionally have somebody that neither image, maybe sometimes they're metaphoric images, they might be of somebody else, they might be
two negative events.
Two negative. We still
which neither would be compelling.
Right.
I mean, they have great information, I'm convinced of that, but they're not always compelling. So what we do is we create an image of truth. Like Marilyn is this tall,
right.
You have blonde hair, and the current
so
truth.
Do a sort of imagined hologram of who I am, and then both of the images that were there, right, that came up from both my eyes.
You can call them, we call it resource images. You can also call them information images.
Right.
So they are information. My feeling says they're resourceful. I mean, because they have information. And to me, being left hemisphere lead, maybe that knowledge is a good resource. So you can call them information images or resource images.
Right. And then, in what way is just right for you? Bring over one resource at a time. You notice I didn't never say, well, bring that image into that image. No. Just the quality and one at a time.
And she's right here. And whatever happens to the pictures happens to the images. We've had everything from like puzzle pieces come out of one and go to the other. We've had one that the resource image kept getting smaller and younger, and this one kept getting older up to current age. And at the end, they joined hands and walked away.
Yeah, that was cool.
So it was whatever the images do, let them do.
Right, so notice how having that resource changes the compelling image of you. Or enhances it, changes it.
If your ecology and your rapport is taken care of, they will not do any harm. People will not harm themselves when there's a balance.
Right. So then on number 8, you would just repeat steps 5, 6, and 7 until the person sometimes will say, well, the image has just gone away, or yeah, there's nothing to that now. And somehow this person will know when it's enough, when they've gotten the information. And if I'm not quite sure, I might just say, well, just check again and be sure. Because in that space of energy, I'm going to have a sense too that he's always Explorer is always the highest quality of information.
Right, and she did good in checking it without forcing any issues.
So now we have the compelling self-image in both hemispheres. We had him cover one eye and review it, cover the other eye and review it. And then we say, now I want you to step forward into this compelling image of you and experience fully and completely. So it's that pretend as if again, the dress rehearsal of trying that on. We're not pretending he's out on the golf course doing it. We're just trying on the qualities of having that so that it is a reality check. Then you breathe into the you now that has that and turn and face the current you and send a message of encouragement coming from the compelling you. Then we step back into current self, receive that message from the compelling us in the future, and then we talked a little bit about how to move that forward, our future pacing. If with the physical processing, we can't rush that. That's a step-by-step body getting better kind of thing. So we know we have our processing filters. If this was about something that I needed to then, so now you have the balance of overall concept and details, or you have a more going towards pleasure as well as
It's interesting.
aware of the pain.
Cooperative as a team, so there's camaraderie that is associated with it, but it's independent, it's alone. So it's an individual sport that hopefully has a healthy social aspect.
Right. And then we talked about the levels, that we took it from an environmental behavior, the beauty of the golf course and him being there, and what each level has been addressed in that compelling image. So thank you very much. This is Module 9. We encourage you to have fun with this, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.